How's it going, traders? Going to go over a short I took on ADSK at the close here. There's a really funny story behind that. First things first, let's take a look at the different setups we saw. So ADSK, it gapped down pretty big. It was put on SSR despite this recent strength in the past few days here. But if you look to the left, once it had established strength, there was really nothing stopping it from running for the whole day. It was a trend trade to the upside despite being on SSR gap down. Really no areas of meaningful resistance until you get to the 140 area, which is some levels from the beginning of the year, but more recently they also correspond to some of these levels here. So I had marked that off 141, 141 and a half area for reversal. Norm took it here one time, caught that move, and then he caught the second huge trend trade for like $6-7. Take a look at his recap if you haven't already. But if you look at once we had reestablished the VWAP, the moving averages started facing northeast, and each time it would come back to the moving average, it was getting bought up, right? This was the type of price action we saw. This is basically a trend trade. And often people ask this question, how do I get into a trend trade? Because in retrospect, wouldn't it be nice to just ride a move all day, walk away, come back and close, right? It's really difficult to predict these things. No one knows, right? But this is a really good scenario in that there's no meaningful resistance to the left that will stop trend trades. And each time it pulls back to the moving average to form these kind of bull flag shapes, ABCDs, whatever you want to call these, every touch of the moving average is getting bought back, and then that gives the next ride sideways, little pullbacks. Next time it touches the moving average, it goes up again, right? I think a lot of people in the room were taking it in this area, this huge consolidation at 139, and it was going to pop to the 140 area. This is where we get to the end of the day in the chat room, and Kurt was saying, okay, once we break 140, we'll pop up. I think Norm and some others caught the long there, which is really nice. But knowing me, you guys know how I do these things, right? I like to wait for someone to pull the fire alarm and there to be a panic exit, and I'll run back in and steal all the cell phones. I'm trying to find the high of the day, right? And Kurt put that challenge to me. He says, well, we'll just, now that it's pumped above 141, 140-ish, we'll let Robert time high of the day. So I was watching, what was I waiting for? I was waiting for a number of things. One, I was waiting for a parabolic move up, right? And usually you'll see that after we break a consolidation, you'll see a parabolic move up. We saw that, this huge candle, right? You don't want to short on this candle. Everyone's obviously buying the break of the high of the day, and obviously there's no indicator for you to short this. It's very bullish, right? This 5-minute candle. And then the next candle, this is where I had a little bit of FOMO. So Eamon was trying to jump on board this challenge, and he went short, right? He went short on after we saw this double wick / shooting star type of thing. But you know, I second guessed it. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like the way it looks. We're not at the level that I had drawn out previously, right? The 141 area. I wanted to see it get to the area, but FOMO got the best of me, and I shorted shortly after he did. It didn't sell off the way I liked, so I just bailed on the next candle, right? Because I realized, similar to the other day, I realized probably shouldn't be in this trade. I really feel we're going to squeeze one more time. So this ended up closing as some sort of a hanging man or whatever you want to call that, but it could also be interpreted as a bull flag, especially this huge candle recently, right? So we popped again, and this time we breached 141. That was nice, right? Break of the whole number, pop up, and I was like, okay, let's see if this thing starts losing steam. On the 1-minute chart, you see as soon as we broke 141, you see this volume spike, right? That's people, again, volume means activity, right? So people are going to do something, buy or sell, buy or sell. As soon as it peaked with this wick, I was like, okay, I got my hand on the trigger. I think this is it. I was telling people in the room, it's like, hold the line, don't, patience, grasshopper. And then on the way down is when I caught the short right there. I went to press at 141.25, but it was on SSR, so you had to get filled on an uptick, and it was a little wild. I got filled at 141.10, so 15 cents later than I'd like to, but whatever, my stop was here, right? And that was the move. This was the move. This next pull up here came to test my break even on 2 occasions. I was thinking about adding, to be honest with you, but I was like, whatever, it's near the close. Let's just let the trade pan out, right? Came back up, test, and then failed again. Nice doji there with huge wicks, and then boom, that was the collapse. Covered a bit here at 140.5, which was my 2-to-1, and then a bit more at the whole number. I'd actually put a limit order. I had to take out the garbage. Came back and I was filled here, right? So this on both exits there, I think I came out with something like 3R or whatever. It went a little bit further and then found support here on the moving averages, and then kind of just went nowhere into the close. But yeah, that's basically the play, right? So the first one, premature again, because got out at break even. The second one, waited for the indicators. So smaller time frame, saw the volume spike, saw the top wick, waited for the 2 minutes, shorted it on the way down, right? What goes up must come down, right? I don't like to take reversals when it's doing these types of things, because this is a consolidation. If it does fall, sure, it'll fall, right? But these consolidations, especially near a whole number, they can lead to violent squeezes, as people who are bet against it are obviously going to have to cover, right? So what goes up must come down, and then once that 5-minute candle closed as a very, very deadly looking star, right? A death star. I was pretty certain that that timed the high of the day there. So anyways, took 2 tries, but that's the way it is. When you trade like this, you obviously not going to be right 100% of the time. That's why we manage our risk, have a stop loss, and let the charts tell us what to do. Thanks for watching, everyone.